Tonight on NewsWatch, CBN News is in the Philippines, bringing you a look at how people in the hardest hit areas are beginning to pick up the pieces.
Plus, fixing the healthcare website. Why some say it'll take longer than promised to resolve the site's technical issues.
And what your doctor doesn't know about heart disease and why that information may save your life. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Well, it's been 5 days now since Typhoon Haiyan ravaged parts of the Philippines, and the devastation continues to mount. 2,344 people have officially been confirmed dead, but that number expected to rise. Around 600,000 have been displaced by the storm, and in the midst of all the devastation, desperation beginning to set in. Some communities are seeing violence, looting, and gunfire as people struggle to find food, clean water, and medicine. Well, police and military forces are working to keep order in many of the affected areas, and that as humanitarian aid begins to pour into the region, including CBN disaster relief teams.
Our senior international correspondent, George Thomas, is traveling with them, and he brings us this report.
On a private plane loaded with relief supplies, we headed on a 2-hour journey south from Manila.
Oh my gosh, look at that devastation. That is unbelievable.
CBN News got an aerial view of the destruction left by Typhoon Haiyan.
As far as the eye can see, destroyed homes, trees completely flattened. Last Friday, the eye wall of Typhoon Haiyan came right here, made its first landfall in Giwan.
John Tan is CBN Asia's general manager.
Giwan was the first town hit by this powerful typhoon.
He says while most of the attention is focused on Tacloban, the hardest hit city just north of here, dozens of towns like Giwan are also struggling to cope.
And so we felt that we should help them.
CBN Disaster Relief and local partners delivered much-needed food, blankets, tents, sleeping mats, and clothes.
So from today, we hope that we can continue to bring more goods on a daily basis.
Antonio Habrez is overseeing the emergency supplies coming into Giwan's destroyed airport.
Our food is scarce. We are isolated and it's hard to get to our city. But the food you've brought and other materials will be a big help.
Security is a big concern. The Philippine Army and police are on the ground to keep residents from looting and rioting.
The security is much better now that police from different parts of the country are here to watch over the town.
Grace Aman is among the hundreds of residents waiting at the airport to escape the chaotic aftermath of the storm.
I'm leaving my parents and my children here and going to Manila to get help from other relatives because we've lost everything.
5 days after the powerful typhoon ravaged large swaths of the country's midsection, many here are getting desperate.
I lost everything. What I am wearing today is all I have. I've been wearing the same clothes since the typhoon. This was our dining area. Over there was our bedroom.
Others like Steve have no other option but to stay.
I was in this corner like this. My child was next to me with a helmet on. My other child was in a container and my wife here in this corner.
Despite the challenges ahead, Steve says that he'll somehow find a way to rebuild because this is, after all, home.
We don't know where we go from here, but we are just thankful to God to be alive. So for now, we take one day at a time.
George Thomas, CBN News, Giwan, Philippines.
For more on what CBN disaster relief teams are doing and how you can help, visit our website, cbnnews.com.
The Obama administration says fewer than 27,000 people signed up for federal plans on healthcare.gov in its first month. That announcement comes after the man tasked with fixing the technical glitches on the site appeared on Capitol Hill this morning. John Jessup reports.
Please raise your right hands.
This is Obamacare's all-star technical team. Usually IT experts like these work quietly behind the scenes. Today they came front and center at a hearing on Capitol Hill, taking fire from the healthcare law's critics on everything from the flawed website to security risks for potential users.
Well, you got the fancy title. You're the Chief Information Officer of the United States of America. That's a pretty big title, and you didn't know about this before the biggest domestic policy program website in the history of this country ever is launched, and you didn't know about this?
Sir,
At the center of the firing squad,
that
Todd Park,
scares us.
now
Mr.
the designated
Park.
point man to fix the website. His appearance, the result of a subpoena issued by congressional Republicans and challenged by the White House. Before the rollout, the administration said the system would only be able to handle 60,000 simultaneous users on the website. Now, more than a month later, Park confirmed it can only support a fraction of that.
Would you like to tell us, for the record, based on your working on this, what number the American people could simultaneously be on the site working on day one before the system began to time out?
The system has been comfortably handling, at present, about 20 to 25,000 current users.
Park says it's improving by the week, now able to process 17,000 registrations an hour. But Republicans asked why the rollout wasn't delayed if it wasn't ready for prime time. Democrats claim Republicans have no interest in improving Obamacare.
Nobody in this room, nobody in this country believes that Republicans want to fix the website.
Meanwhile, a government official warns the website trouble may not be fixed by the end of the month as promised. The issue is beginning to bog down the president's approval ratings. Only 39% now approve of his job performance in a new Quinnipiac poll, while 54% disapprove. And by a 52 to 44% margin, people say the president is not honest and trustworthy. John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
Former President Bill Clinton is weighing in on the Obamacare debacle. He says President Obama should honor his promise to the American people about keeping their health care plans if they like them.
I personally believe, even if it takes a change in the law, the president should honor the commitment the federal government made to those people and let them keep what they got.
Clinton also said Obamacare's botched website rollout is a big problem, but he said the country is better off with the law than without it.
President Obama's nominee to be Secretary of Homeland Security, Jeh Johnson, had his Senate confirmation hearing today.
I respectfully submit that I am ready, willing, and able to lead the Department of Homeland Security.
Unlike his predecessors, counterterrorism ranks third on his list of priorities. Johnson is more focused on filling key leadership positions and improving morale at the department. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is vowing to block Johnson's nomination in an effort to force the Obama administration to disclose more information about the consulate attack in Benghazi, Libya.
The State Department is officially designating the group Boko Haram a terrorist organization. The al-Qaeda-linked group is responsible for thousands of deaths in Nigeria over the last several years, including the killings of many civilians. Designating the group a terrorist organization means business and financial transactions with the organization are blocked. The State Department calls today's announcement an important step to help Nigeria root out violent extremism.
Palestinian-Israeli peace talks have hit another roadblock. The Palestinian negotiating team has re-signed, according to a spokesman for that delegation. Peace talks began back in July after nearly a 5-year break, but negotiations stopped last week after Israel announced plans to build more settlements on the West Bank, an area Palestinian claims as their own. The chief Palestinian negotiator said settlement building in East Jerusalem and the West Bank is the issue that will make or break the negotiations. A senior U.S. official says negotiations are expected to continue.
Israeli intelligence minister Yuval Steinitz is warning against any type of deal on Iran's nuclear program, saying any kind of agreement between Tehran and leading world powers would actually legitimize Iran's nuclear program. Steinitz says it would be very difficult for the international community to backtrack on a deal once it's signed.
Now, under the umbrella of this interim partial agreement, Iran is actually, in a very sophisticated way, achieved legitimation, international legitimation for being and remaining, at least for the time being, a threshold nuclear country.
That means Iran could achieve nuclear capability in less than a year, despite the fact they have violated United Nations sanctions.
American Pastor Saeed Abedini has been denied his medication in Iran. Abedini's father tried to visit him this week, but he was turned away. He brought Abedini's medication as well as his personal belongings, but prison officials told him Abedini wasn't allowed to have them. Abedini has been transferred to a horrible prison where he is surrounded by 22,000 of Iran's most violent criminals, including murderers, rapists, and drug addicts. It's also a place to dump political prisoners out of sight from human rights groups and the media. The American Center for Law and Justice warns that Pastor Abedini's life is at stake. To find out what you can do to help, go to cbnnews.com.
21 nations in the Middle East and nearby regions say the eradication of polio is an emergency priority. That's according to the World Health Organization, which says the nations believe Pakistan is a key part of the problem. The health agency says the joint resolution calls on Pakistan to quickly vaccinate all its children to prevent the virus from spreading internationally. The WHO says the polio virus has been confirmed in at least 13 children in a northern Syrian province. The children became paralyzed. The health agency says the Syria outbreak comes from a polio strain that began in Pakistan.
Afghanistan produced their highest level of opium ever this year, according to a report from the United Nations. That's despite nearly $7 billion spent by the U.S. to stop the production. Afghanistan is the world's largest opium producer, growing 90% of the world's crop.
Despite this tangible progress within the world of the narcotics, the addiction rates are still going up far beyond 1 million. And for the third consecutive year in a row, we witness an increase in the opium cultivation.
The poppies bring in up to $200 per kilogram for farmers. Compare that to just 41 cents for wheat. Wow. The high profit makes it difficult for the government to get rid of the crop.
Coming up, how Filipino families here in the U.S. are coping with the devastating typhoon in their home country.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Returning now to our top story tonight, many Filipino families in the U.S. are not sure when they'll hear from family members living in the typhoon-hit areas of the Philippines.
Yeah, Mark, it's a painful waiting game for many, and it could last indefinitely. Heather Sells has more.
For the 3 million Filipinos in the U.S., there's tremendous concern about the devastation in their homeland.
I feel like I'm crying, honestly. I felt so bad. I wish we can do something.
I feel sad about my countrymen.
It's perhaps most painful for those still unable to reach their family, like Frankie Tripoli. Even as he runs his seafood business, his thoughts are with his sister and brother, who live in hard-hit Leyte.
I just keep watching the news, then I try to call, but no, you cannot reach it.
I have my family there. My parents are there and 2 brothers.
For Edgar Buna, there's tears as he worries about his family's safety and well-being. There's been no word from them since the typhoon struck.
I'm just hoping that I can contact them, and heard their voice.
It's a wait-and-see game. That's what's so disheartening. There is not a solution for that. We're Facebooking, we're Twittering.
Naomi Astaris is organizing donations from some 40,000 of her countrymen in Southeast Virginia. She's also trying to reach friends in the Philippines, and she's taking the advice of a close friend on the ground there who she has heard from.
I had a philanthropic friend that's out there, and she's such a humanitarian, and she goes, Naomi, just keep on praying, because that's all we can do at this point is pray.
For now, the praying and waiting and news watching continue as Filipinos here hope for the best. Reporting in Virginia Beach, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, why cutting cholesterol may not actually be the key to warding off heart disease.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Doctors in the U.S. are urging more people to consider taking statin drugs to lower cholesterol. The American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology have issued the first new guidelines in a decade for preventing heart attacks and strokes, and they call for twice as many Americans to consider taking statin drugs. Under the new advice, 33 million Americans would meet the threshold for taking the medicine. That's 44% of men and 22% of women. Still, many doctors say only a small percentage actually need the drug. Well, heart disease is America's #1 killer, but what really causes it?
First, doctors blamed cholesterol. Then we heard that only bad cholesterol was the problem.
Now, some cardiologists are changing their diagnosis again. Jeh Johnson has more in tonight's Focus Reports.
In the fight for better health, Americans view cholesterol as public enemy #1. Doctors tell us to stay away from food high in saturated fat like butter, eggs, and meat because it's responsible for heart disease. But what if that's wrong?
You know, cholesterol is found at the scene of the crime for heart disease, but it's not the perpetrator.
Cardiologist Stephen Sinatra and a growing number of physicians believe cholesterol does not cause heart disease. They point the finger at inflammation, which can be caused by eating too much sugar. Sinatra admits a small fraction of cholesterol is bad because it's inflammatory, but for the most part, it's good for you.
Cholesterol many times can be a gift in disguise, a higher cholesterol.
In his new book, The Great Cholesterol Myth, Sinatra explains that since half of all patients hospitalized for heart disease have high cholesterol, that means the other half have low cholesterol.
I was doing angiograms on people with cholesterols of 150, and they had far advanced heart disease. And the converse, I would do an angiogram on somebody with cholesterols of 280, and they had no heart disease.
Since high cholesterol gets the blame from most doctors, they prescribe cholesterol-lowering statin drugs to their patients with it. But Sinatra says only a small percentage actually need the drug. He only prescribes statins to middle-aged men with coronary heart disease, like Albert Tays.
Other than getting older, I'm not feeling any worse for wear.
Sinatra says a small percentage of women can also benefit from statins as an anti-inflammatory, not to lower cholesterol. But he says for many statin users, the risks outweigh the gains.
The side effects of statins are grossly underreported. I mean, grossly underreported.
Muscle pain and fatigue are two key complaints.
Doc, I can't get out of a chair anymore. I have weakness in my thighs. I can't play doubles tennis. I walk the dog and I'm vitally exhausted. These are statin side effects. However, a lot of the doctors or the patients think they're getting older. They're not getting older. These are statin side effects.
Patients over 70 are especially vulnerable.
They can't remember names. They can't remember where they put their glasses or keys. They forget sometimes who they are. If you do take a statin, it can actually bring on the onset of Alzheimer's disease by 15 years. So you got to be cautious with statins.
So while statins may or may not be right for you, one thing is certain: reducing inflammation is good for your heart no matter who you are.
The best way to do that is cut back on sugar.
You know, cholesterol is sort of your friend. Sugar is your foe. It's the villain. It's your enemy.
Sugar damages arteries, increases blood pressure, and ages your organs. And we're not just talking about soda and candy, but also food that turns into sugar as soon as you eat it. Refined carbohydrates like white bread, white pasta, and white rice. 68-year-old Joan Jackson is living proof that a low-sugar diet improves your heart. At one point, she needed a heart transplant, but after changing her diet and lifestyle, Joan was taken off the transplant list.
I feel great. I'm not going to say I'm 16, but I feel great at my age. I feel I can do anything and accomplish anything I want to.
Her secret? Good old-fashioned self-control.
We have a tendency of saying, oh, I want that last piece of pie, or I'm going to have this piece of candy. But sometimes you have to say no.
Dr. Sinatra describes his healthiest patients as those who avoid sugar and refined carbohydrates and, get this, fill up on fats. He highly recommends unsaturated fats like nuts, avocados, fish, and olive oil. He even touts saturated fats like unprocessed meat and coconut oil.
Coconut oil is a saturated fat. Because it's a saturated fat, it's less prone to oxidation. So it really protects you.
But stay away from trans fat, which is man-made and added to most packaged foods.
I call trans fats unguided missiles that really cause enormous inflammation of blood vessels.
Remember to pay close attention to the ingredients in your food. The word hydrogenated is your red flag because that means trans fat. So while doctors may disagree about whether cholesterol causes heart disease, one thing is certain. If you go easy on sugar and trans fats, you're headed in the right direction. Jeh Johnson, CBN News.
Up next, a look at the new way people are paying to ride the subway in Russia.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, subway riders in Russia are getting into the Olympic spirit.
Yeah, and also getting into shape. A vending machine has been set up at one of Moscow's subway stations. It allows people to earn a free ticket by doing squats. Riders can do 30 squats instead of paying the regular 30 ruble fee. The catch? The machine gives people a 2-minute time limit and scans to make sure the squats are done correctly.
12, 13, 14, 30. Возьмите свой билет. Итак, первый билет. Лена, покажите, пожалуйста, всем.
She got her ticket there. The purpose is to promote sports and fitness in advance of the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. Wow, I wonder if Americans would go for something like that.
You think you could do 30 squats in 2 minutes?
I think so. You too?
I think I could.
Yeah.
I love the Russian spirit.
Go ahead. We got a little bit of time.
Okay.
Prove it.
1, 2. I'm wearing high heels. This is not fair.
Thanks for watching. That's going to do it for this edition of NewsWatch.
Bye-bye.